Hi friends, after taking a review about our constitution, working of the constitution, we will move towards the chapter number 2 of political science. The name of the chapter is the electoral process. Electoral process is an important process for the success of democracy. So, in this chapter, we study some aspects of electoral process. Now here are we introduce about the electoral process. Elections have played a major role in the working of India's democracy. Elections and representations are two very important processes in democracy. People's representatives are selected through elections. Elections help to bring a change in power through peaceful means. Different political parties get an opportunity to rule. Policies of the government and life of society also changes because of elections. We expect that the representatives we elect should be efficient, honest, and trustworthy, and that they should respect the opinion of the people. The electoral process should also be free, fair, and reliable. Now, see, the Constitution of India has made provision for an independent election commission to administer the election process in India. In this chapter, in your textbook, there is a box titled Do You Know? See, in this box, the concept of representation has been cleared. Now see, what is the concept of representation? Modern democracy is a representative democracy. In a democracy, it is not possible to involve the entire population in the decision-making process. This resulted in the starting of the practice of election. It means the practice of electing some people on behalf of entire population as representatives who would run the government. The representatives who form the government are expected to be responsible to the people and give preference to the welfare of the people. So, study this concept carefully. Now here we are going to learn about the Election Commission, which is the center point of the electoral process. Now see, the Election Commission, the entire process of elections from declaring the date of elections to the declaration of results is carried out under the direction and control of Election Commission. In India, the Election Commission is central to the process of elections. Article 324 of the Indian Constitution has established this autonomous body which consists of the Chief Election Commissioner and two other commissioners. The Election Commission of India and the state election commissions conduct all important elections in our country, such as local government to parliament. The Election Commission does not have a separate staff. Government officers, teachers, and other employees help the Election Commission to execute the process of elections. Now the main point of the Election Commission is the Election Commissioner. We will learn some more things about election commissioner. See, the President of India appoints the election commissioners. The Chief Election Commissioner cannot be removed from his post easily or on account of any political reasons. This is necessary so as to preserve the independence of election commission. Now in your book there is a box, do you know, on page number 75. Here is an information about the first election commissioner of India. Sukumar Sen was the first chief election commissioner after independence. In 1921, Sen was selected for Indian civil services under the British rule. He was given the charge of the election commissioner after the election commission was established in 1950. Mr. Sen efficiently handled the responsibility of the election commission in extremely adverse condition of India. Now see, there is another interesting box in your textbook on page number 77, that is about the first voter of India. See here, Shyam Charan Negi from Himachal Pradesh was the first voter of India. See that Shyam Charan Negi exercised his right to vote on 25th October 1951 in Lok Sabha election. Here is a picture, a photograph of Mr. Negi and his wife. See that Shyam Charan Negi became a landmark person in the history of election commission and pioneers of Indian voters. Now see, here we can going to learn functions of election commission. The election commission does not have a separate staff. We already know it. Government officers, teachers and other employees help the election commission to execute the electoral process. What are the functions of election commission? See here. Preparing the voters list. Second one is decide the timetable and the program of elections. Next one, scrutiny of the applications of the candidates. Next is give recognition to political parties and to resolve any dispute relating to the elections. So these are the functions of election commission. Now we are going to learn the functions of election commission in details. So the first function is preparing the voters list. See, what do we see here? Every Indian citizen who has completed 18 years of age has a right to vote. Now the next is to exercise the right to vote, citizens' name must be in the voters list. It is the responsibility of the election commission to prepare the list of eligible voters, update the existing voters list and include the names of new voters. The election commission has the authority to issue identity cards to the voters. See that when you completed your 18 years of the age, you will be a voter of India. For that, you must enroll your name in the voters list of Election Commission of India. Now see, the next function of Election Commission is decide the timetable and the program of elections. The conduct of elections is entirely the responsibility of the Election Commission. The next point is the Election Commission decides when to conduct elections and in how many stages to hold elections in every state. Now see, here is a flow chart about the process of election. See here carefully. The first point is, or the first process is establishment of constituencies. The next is finalizing voter lists. Next is nomination of candidates and scrutiny of their nomination forms. The next is election campaign. The next main process is actual voting. After that, counting of votes. Next is results of elections. And last one is resolution of disputes regarding elections. So it is a flow chart of election process. You study it carefully. Now the third function of election commission is scrutiny of the applications of the candidates. See, after the election dates are declared, every political party selects the candidates to contest elections. Some candidates contest the elections independently without the support of any political party. Candidates of political parties as well as independent candidates have to fill the applications which include the information about their own self. The Election Commission scrutinises all the applications and allows the eligible candidates to contest the election. Now the next function of Election Commission is give recognition to political parties. See, we have a multi-party system in our country. New parties continue to be formed. Split in the parties results in the formation of new parties. All political parties are required to be recognized by the Election Commission. Election Commission also has a right to de-recognize any political party. The Election Commission also allots election symbols to the political parties. See, election symbols are very important for the political parties. See, the last function of Election Commission is to resolve any disputes relating to elections. What is it? See that the Election Commission has the responsibility to resolving any disputes that may arise regarding elections. Accordingly, to declare any candidate as disqualified or conduct re-election in a particular constituency is the responsibility of the Election Commission. See here, it is interesting. Here is a postal stamp which is related with the functions of Election Commission. Now see, restructuring of the constituency. See, constituencies are very important for the elections. The total number of members in Lok Sabha is 543. Every member represents one constituency. It means there are 543 constituencies of Lok Sabha. Creating constituencies is the responsibility of the Election Commission. Specially, it is an responsibility of Delimitation Commission of the Election Commission. The Delimitation Commission does not succumb to any pressure while restructuring the constituencies. Now see, in your textbook there is a picture on page number 77 which is about the code of conduct. See, here students like you are discussing about the code of conduct. Now what is the code of conduct? What is the concept of code of conduct? See it. To ensure free and fair elections in India, the Election Commission has adopted several measures. The Code of Conduct is one of the measures adopted by the Election Commission. In the last few decades, the Election Commission has used its powers to control malpractices during elections. See that the Code of Conduct explains the rules that are to be followed by the government, political parties, and voters before elections, during elections. Even the government cannot violate these rules. So it is a concept of code of conduct. And code of conduct is important for free and fair elections. Now see, we are going to learn challenges in conducting free and fair elections. Which are these challenges? See, first is misuse of money. Second one is criminalization of politics. Third one is violence during elections. And the last one is a family monopoly in politics. Now we are going to learn in details. First is misuse of money. Misuse of money takes places to a great extent during elections. Now election commission has to take several measures to stop such a misuse of money. The second one is criminalization of politics. Many political parties give election tickets to the candidates with criminal background. This result not only in criminalization of politics, but the election commission also faced problems in ensuring that elections are conducted in free environment. Another major challenges is violence during elections. The extent of violence has increased significantly during elections. All political parties should help the election commission to control this violence. Now the last one is to retain a continuing influence on politics. Leaders give election tickets to their own relatives. This practice creates a family monopoly in politics. So these are challenges in conducting free and fair elections. So in your textbook on page number 78, there is a box titled "Do you know?" It is about the challenges in first election of India. Now we are going to learn about the electoral reforms. The electoral process becomes reliable if election process gets improved. Some reforms are suggested below. The first point is to increase participation of women in politics. The political parties should give 50% candidature to women candidates and try to ensure that they get elected. The next is political parties should not give candidature to candidates having criminal background. They should strictly follow the decision given by court in this respect. The next is the government should take care of election expenses to ensure that parties will not make misuse of money and mismanagement of money during election can be stopped. And the last one is Representation of the People Act, who should be amended so that candidates having criminal background would not be able to participate in the elections. See here, it is a box on page number 79 in your textbook, Journey from ballot boxes to EVM machines. Read it carefully, which is an example of the improvement in the election process. See here, there are some concepts about the types of elections in your textbook. There are three types of elections in India, such as general elections, midterm elections, and by-elections. So, general elections means Lok Sabha elections held every after 5 years are called general elections. Now, midterm elections means if the elected government loses its majority before completing its term in the parliament, or if the parties of the coalition government withdraw their supports, resulting in the loss of majority support for the government, and if no alternative government is possible, then elections are held before the completion of the term. They are called midterm elections. And the next concept is by-elections. If an elected representative in Lok Sabha, Vidhan Sabha, or the local self-government resign or due to his or her death, his seat becomes vacant. The elections are held for that vacant seat. This is called a by-election. So these are three types of elections. Now, in this chapter, we studied the electoral process from various angles. So read this chapter carefully again and again. Watch this video carefully and revise this lesson. We will meet soon for the revision of this lesson. Thank you.